I'm calling the meeting to order of the Transportation and Bikeways Advisory Committee at 3:34. Our chairperson, Peter Allgaier, is going to be trying to zoom in a little later, and our vice chair, Scott McDonald, is unable to be here, so as clerk, I'm going to just be running this temporarily until Peter can come in. So the first thing would be public comment. We have a couple of people here and online. Does anyone have public comment?
No hands raised.
Okay. The next thing is communication. And under communication, at our last meeting, we just glanced by this Mill Lane issue. I didn't know what to put on the agenda for that. Calvin, have you heard anything more about it or have an idea of where we should be going with it?
So actually, Christy's in the audience here. I mean, this was really just a request for no parking signs on Mill Lane. They're having some sight line issues, people parking off the edge of the road, causing property damage. As you know, Mill Lane's a pretty narrow road. A lot of people use it as a cut through. So we were in support of putting some signage up there for no parking along that side of the road, and just wanted to put it through the committee, get your support as well.
Okay. Does everybody know where Mill Lane is? It's in between Beach Road and Barley Neck or Poshet.
Road?
Yes.
So my only concern is you get a lot of condos there, the Mill Lane condos there, and they have pretty limited visitor parking opportunities. So
Yeah.
what are they going to do if somebody has 5 people over sometime?
I mean, this request came from the condos, so,
From the association?
yes.
Sue, can you come up and sit at the microphone for us? Thank you. Sue Christie is going to be speaking, representing the Mill Lane condos.
I've been asked by my neighbors to.
Can you speak into the microphone?
Oh, yes. Sue Christie, and I live at number 4 Mill Lane. And my neighbors have asked me to, well, they came to me and said, what can we do about this? It is a narrow lane. It's really almost one way, except it became the major detour for the work on the committee, on the sewer, starting in June and going through the summer and into the early fall. And as a result, it is also hasn't yet been resurfaced. But the thing that was concerning to us as a group is that because it is so narrow and our neighbor at the Poached end or the Barley Neck side have people that are parking on that side already. And so if anybody needs to come, particularly people that are perhaps working on our buildings, have a problem and they park there. And it's not a good solution. That our side has been pretty much broken down, and that was the reason that I was approached on this. And Calvin was very nice. He came and he looked at it as soon as I had requested to have somebody look at it, and he and I looked at it and felt that perhaps one of the ways to handle it, well, I'll back up. We had, because of our very close to Barley Neck Inn, had to put stones along the Barley Neck side because all the employees were parking over there. And that was a major problem, and the way we attended it was to put the stones along. So our group said, well, maybe we need to put stones along on Mill Lane on our side, on our property. And I didn't think that was a very good idea, and Calvin actually said he felt that was not a good idea, and suggested that I come and talk to you. And at the same time, they were doing the run at Barley Neck Inn for December, and there were signs up, no parking on our side, which was fine. We were very pleased about that. And that was suggested by Calvin, that perhaps that was the way to address it, just to put up no parking signs on our side.
Concerned that if we had any sort of physical barrier there, that if there was any sort of emergency vehicle trying to get through, there wouldn't be room to pull over onto the shoulder. Also, we're requested several times a year to put out temporary signage at this location. So, I mean, the temporary signage seems to be working well whenever we put it out there. So, if this would solve the issue, we would be in support of putting a couple signs out there for them.
So it is a laid-out road, Mill Lane?
I'd have to double check if it's laid out or not, but with the condo association's permission, or if they even need our involvement, they can have signage installed.
Do you think that that is the best solution? I live right near there, too, so it is a very narrow road.
Yes, it is.
It almost appears it would be a good candidate to be a one-way road, because it's very, you barely fit two cars on it. But Calvin, if you think the best solution is for no parking signs on there? Is that what you would consider?
I mean, yeah, if the goal is to keep people off from parking on the shoulder of the road, I would start with signage. I don't know if I'd go right for boulders off the side of the road and have those.
Sue
Hazard.
was describing them as stones. They're boulders. I mean, they're very large.
No, but what we were, when it was suggested to me, I said, we can't put those big stones.
Yeah.
And, but they said, well, maybe little stones. There apparently somebody had driven by with little stones that had a red light on the top of it. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous. You don't have the electricity there to do that. And I've never seen that done. But and because of people getting used to using Mill Lane as a detour all during the constructions of this past summer, people have continued to use it to get over to Beach Road. And the bigger problem is the bus comes through there, and the school children that are on Beach Road, and also all the trucks go through there. And, you've got to, it has to be solved.
Do we want to wait until Chief McDonald is here or are you confident that this is the best solution?
If we wanted to wait for input, we could. My main input would be like what you said. If it's a laid out road, we could do it. If it's a non-laid out road, you're free to put up your own signs. So.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So maybe by the next meeting, we'll ask Chief McDonald. What I notice on the road is if you're going from Barley Neck toward Beach, to try to get onto Beach is very dangerous there, because you've got bushes from the condos, so you can't see to the left at all. You don't know what's coming. And so it's a very dangerous entrance going on to Beach Road. So, I would wonder, is it?
We'd been, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, we'd been asked by the town to do
Trim back.
some cutting back of the vegetation that's there. And we've cut it back, and then we were asked again, and yet we cut that further back. And other than taking down trees, we can't do that.
Well, I would say, can we wait until our next meeting and ask Chief McDonald to go out and take a look and see what he thinks? And Calvin, if you do think that's the best solution, then at the next meeting, we could take a vote on what to do.
Fine with that? Yep.
Okay. Everyone,
It was very, it was interesting because of the what it was, the Christmas dash. And they put the signs up, and it is very effective, just the signs.
yeah, so that may be the most effective solution. So at the next meeting, when Chief McDonald is here, and we've looked to see, is it a laid-out road also, then we can address it as an agenda item. Would that be okay?
Thank you.
Okay,
We appreciate it.
thanks, Sue. Okay, the next item on the agenda is update on signage for Overland Extension and the Cape Cod Rail Trail. Bob and Joel, want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, Joel and I took a walk out that way to Overland, and Overland Extension, as you all know, is probably the bike extension that was put in there several years ago, before my time, to know why. It went in there basically to make connections to Route 6A. So bikers, from the bike trail or either direction could make a connection to the bike trail, which is a good idea. There's no signage there at all, so we took a look at it, came up with basically 4 locations along that way that's going to need signage. From the bike path, you'd have a sign that down by the end of Overland, you'd have a sign directing where to go to 6A, just an arrow or something. So we've got laid out ideas of where they should go. And we're going to walk with it, or go out with Calvin later in January to take a look more about the type of signs and that type of thing. But they're pretty simple signs: CCRT, trail, bikeway, bike sign, with ideas of how far it is to the road, to 6A, et cetera. So we can accomplish that hopefully the end of January and give you an idea. And
Great.
you're going to look at signs with CCRT with the state, right? To see
We'll
what
make sure that it's consistent
Consistent
with the current.
with the current.
Cape Cod Rail Trail signage, as well as any signage off the trail pointing towards the trail. And to dovetail on what Bob was saying, it's kind of 2 things. When you're on the rail trail, you need a sign, and signage saying how to get to 6A. And when you're on 6A, you need to be aware of how to get to the rail trail. So it's kind of 2 variations in 2 different directions that we're looking at. Yeah, we set something up with Calvin at the end of the month to kind of walk it and get his feedback as well, but compare notes.
Okay, great. The next thing, Peter, I see you're
Stephanie,
on.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes, go ahead.
Can you see us, see me?
Yes, I can see you and the beautiful snow in the background.
Yep.
Okay, so we
thanks.
are
Sorry,
on-
I was having-
We are on item number 5, if you want to take over,
Okay,
which
thanks.
is discussion of Salty Ridge, the Cape Cod Rail Trail, and West Road intersection.
Right. Okay, so you already covered Overland.
Extension.
Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, so then you guys are going to come back with a specific proposal, is that it?
For Overland?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we're going to go out and just get, on the signage issue, is that what your question is?
Yes.
Yeah. There's like 4 locations, Peter, that should have signs, and we just need to know.
Yeah, no, I heard that. I
Yeah.
heard that.
And
So,
so we'll come up with some exact, signage that we'll have to manufacture and post and that type of thing, hopefully. When we go out in January. January 27th is our date, tentatively, to go out and take a look.
okay. And then, so we're going to, then, I guess Calvin will have to come up with a budget for that, because the budget was the $8,000 was for the overland extension, right?
Well, and that's what we're talking about. That budget would include all of the signs to Overland. So.
Right. But Salty Ridge would be a separate budget.
Okay,
No?
that's the next agenda item.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's number 5.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're on Salty Ridge now, or we need to go back
Yes.
to the other one? Okay.
No, we're on Salty Ridge.
So Salty Ridge, that also, do you have a particular proposal, or you're still looking at possibilities there?
I mean, my short-term proposal would be just more striping. I think the confusion starts further back on Salty Ridge as you approach West Road, as you're using the rail trail. You get to the end of Salty Ridge at West Road, and really the only thing you have is one of those small rail trail signs, which is across the street. I think a lot of people don't realize that the bike lane continues on the right side of the road as you wrap around. So I think if we
Right.
were to wrap that striping down around the corner of Salty Ridge, it would head people in the right direction as they approach West Road. And then we talked about maybe enhancing that landing on the other side of the crosswalk for people crossing West Road onto Salty Ridge. Maybe with that, I'd have to find the edge of the layout, but maybe we could have that lane approach perpendicular to the road. Right now, it's kind of just a landing pad. People kind of cut diagonally across it. If we were to wrap that lane to face it towards the roadway to make people cross the road at the crosswalk might help.
Right. Okay, so you're gonna come up with a specific proposal on that, on the, what kind of striping you want? There's no way to expand the, I'll call it the takeoff side of that crossing. If you're coming from, say, coming West Road,
From
and
Old
you're gonna make
Colony.
a left on Old, yeah. Yeah, from Old Colony, and then you come along to the end where you're gonna where you're ending your bike ride before you cross. That's that's a takeoff zone, really.
Well, it's the landing pad I was just talking about.
Oh,
We could potentially make that into the lane to align people with the crosswalk, similar to what was done up on the other crossing at Old Colony.
mm-hmm. But is there any construction that needs to be done there?
Yeah, the
If I,
big asphalt work involved,
uh-huh,
extending the lane where that current landing pad is.
uh-huh.
If I could add a couple of things, Peter. I think when that intersection was redesigned about 15-plus years ago, there was a conscious effort to make sure there was no retaining walls, because it does drop off. You've got some guardrail on the
Right,
on the
right.
east side of West Road, and it does end, and then the landing is directly opposite the crosswalk. There were limits on how that landing could be because there's an embankment, and you don't want to get too far, encroach into, then you're talking retaining wall and major money and so forth and so on. So that's why that a simple landing. Maybe some demarcation, striping, signs, and so forth. And that landing was actually added to basically and help people, families, for example, who are, traveling up the hill and going to take a left, so they could stop and cross rather than cross in the middle of the road. Okay,
Yeah.
and similarly, the one down on, as you're going down towards, so going south now, West Road, there's a landing pad opposite the Old Colony Road, where that is an area for refuge. Where families could come down, wait, and cross, rather than right out in the middle of the road. Okay?
Yeah.
So you are a little constrained, I think, at the, on the north section.
Right. Okay.
I think
Okay, so, go ahead.
just
And I-
cleaning it up with striping and
Yep.
There's some overgrowth there. Might help.
Now, is there some sort of yellow base there? I mean, kind of a,
There's stanchions at every crossing on West Road.
Ah.
We remove them for snow operations.
oh, okay.
So through the summertime when, it's being heavily used, there's a stanchion at every crossing.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
I'm wondering.
so you're
So
gonna, you
Joel-
can just go ahead with
Joel-
that?
I'm just wondering, Calvin, when we go out and talk about the signs in Overland, maybe we can also take a look at West Road and Salty Ridge. Bob and I had several ideas, and we thought maybe it would be better to bounce some ideas off of you while we're there. If things look good, then present and talk to the larger group on things like I think there's a lot of improvements that could be done, and the question is, what's realistic and practical, and is it just putting some lines? Is it bigger things that involve a little bit significant more money? So thinking of small to potentially more significant improvements that could be made there.
Yeah. No, I thought that we were planning on going there already as part of our walk, so.
Okay. So on January 27th, you're going to be doing an on-site with Calvin to look at that, and then you'll, at our, maybe either a February or March meeting, come back to us with some ideas?
We'll call it the cyclist perspective of the
Okay.
intersection.
Great.
And walkers,
Okay,
And walk.
and
We're all
walkers,
walking.
anybody on their feet.
okay. Okay, so now the next thing is the, what is, do we know what VHB's availability for the Beach Road community meeting would be?
Yes, that was mine. At our last meeting, what we had talked about was trying to do the Beach Road Community meeting sooner rather than later. And so I looked at what was available for space for meeting rooms in the late afternoon, early evening. And the only date for all of January and February is February 3rd. Other than that, everything is filled. Now, we do have these new portable units so that we would be able to have a meeting in some other public meeting place where we've had meetings previously. We're at the police department, and I know I've been to a number at the library. So what I wanted to find out from Calvin is, other than February 3rd, are there some meeting times that VHB would have available so that then I can find meeting space for us for a meeting in February?
I asked Josh about his February availability. He said he could be flexible throughout the month, but would prefer Tuesday or Thursday.
Okay, great.
What is February 3rd? What kind of day is that?
That's a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Okay, then, now, do we have to, we should be giving 3 weeks' notice on that, is that correct?
Right, the meeting has to be publicized for 2 weeks ahead. And so really, we need to know 3 weeks in advance because you have to give the notice to Molly Bates to get published. And this, if you don't get it in early in the week, whatever. So it's good to have a good 3-week time frame before you establish
Okay.
the meeting to know what it is.
And she publishes it on the website?
No, she sends it to the Chronicle. A public meeting has to be published in
Oh,
the
I see.
Chronicle.
This is,
Okay.
excuse me if I may, this is not
Go
a
ahead.
public hearing. This is just a presentation. We want to get the word out, certainly, but this is not a public.
Oh,
this is not
okay.
A
Yeah,
formal hearing in
okay.
any way.
Oh,
This is
great.
just to present the findings, what our consultant thinks of the study,
Uh-huh,
take input.
okay, all right.
So I wouldn't, don't
I-
follow
all
it
right.
up. There's plenty of
Okay.
formal occasions coming.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, no.
I was thinking we had to do an announcement in the Chronicle, but we
wanna
don't.
Make sure people
Oh,
know about
okay.
the meeting, for sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Then we don't need the 3-week. I'm sorry.
Right, but, I mean, we clearly want to make sure that we are getting the word out, or we're going to get some feedback if we don't.
Well, I mean, that being said, Tuesday, we have our meeting on Monday, February 2nd. Tuesday, February 3rd, this room is available. Would that be, if what Josh is saying is he's available throughout February and he prefers a Tuesday and a Thursday, would Tuesday, February 3rd work?
I can try to confirm if that date will work for him and get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. And actually, that would give us a chance to have our meeting on the 2nd and kind of, if we have comments that would then be incorporated into the meeting on the 3rd. In other words, comments from the committee. No?
Right? Yes.
Okay. All right. So,
So I'll go ahead and I'll reserve the meeting for February 3rd. And then we'll,
Okay.
to make sure we get the room, because
Okay.
it is very tight.
and it would be the same time, it would be the 3:30 time?
It's available, I can't remember exactly the time, but I thought a community meeting, usually they're a little bit later than that. Usually, community meetings are,
Oh, so, yeah, so people who are working can get.
yeah, usually community meetings, like select board meetings or any other community meeting, are usually from 5 o'clock on. So I thought 5 o'clock, but I'm sure, can you check with Josh and find out if 5 o'clock on the 3rd is good for him?
I will.
And with you?
Yep. I'll reach out to Josh and confirm with you.
Okay,
Follow up with you guys.
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so the next one then is a date for select board meeting regarding project updates and crosswalk policy. I guess on that one, I should just get, or George and I should get together with Molly Bates and ask her when we could have some time for that. George, do you have particular thoughts on appropriate time frame?
Yeah, Peter, we have a new policy for getting on the select board agenda for staff, and you need about 10 days notice. So the possible dates in February are the 4th or the 18th. And seeing as this committee is already working on the 2nd and the 3rd potentially, maybe the
Yeah.
18th would be the time. And I'm also thinking that any other updates you want to give to the board, such as the fiscal requests, if they're coming through the board or if they're going through the DPW, I don't know, we'll talk about those later. Let's just make sure we put everything in there that we want, so we're
Okay.
efficient with the select board time and we get everything out there that we need, okay? So I can coordinate
Okay.
directly with you on that, Peter.
Okay, fine. That's great. Okay, then, let's see, what do we have? We've got speed indicator signs.
No, we're on number 8. Main Street
Pardon me?
Fields, number 8. Main Street Field Survey Status from VHB.
Oh, right.
And
I'm
warrant
sorry.
article.
Okay. So where do we know when they can come back with that? VHB?
VHB said they have 4 days left in the field to complete the survey. Once they complete the survey, they're going to shoot for next week, completing the field work. If they make that, then we could see something by mid-February, early March with the results.
Okay. All right, so that's possibly at our March meeting, huh?
Yeah, there's a chance for that.
Okay. All right, so Calvin, we'll rely on you to stay in touch with them and then give us a heads up as to when they feel that they're in a position to meet with us.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question on all that too, because when we're not getting their results until March, and warrant articles have to be in before then, right, George? They have to be in probably by the first, at the end of February. So that means that what is on the capital improvement plan right now for Main Street was 500,000 for a design engineering study for Main Street. But when we don't even have the field survey until March,
Yeah,
my hope was that we could get the 500,000 so that then we could start in on all the June applications for the Massachusetts, like Mass Works and things like that. And those applications, excuse me, are all due at like the first week of June. And so my hope was that we would have something approved at the town meeting in May so that we would then be able to put in some applications then. But
yeah.
it doesn't, time-wise, look like it's falling that way. I mean, Calvin, what is the earliest that we could get, be ready to ask for a design engineering plan? Would the earliest we would be ready for that be best to target in the November town meeting warrant, do you think? I mean,
I think it would be dependent on when we find out the obstructions that they find in the field survey.
yeah,
Obviously, we'd have to go for funding to move along with any design study, so.
right. But if we're not going to know that until March, and we have to have a warrant article in February,
Yeah.
are we just up against it so we don't get on the May town meeting schedule?
I wouldn't say it's guaranteed. We can hope that he gets it for mid-February, and maybe in our February meeting, if we feel like it's not gonna be complete by then, we could change things around.
Can you just indulge me for a second? Sitting next to
Yes.
a traffic engineer, has
Yep.
35 years' experience in this stuff, or probably more.
Great.
Doug, if we get a field survey, we haven't really, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on how you move from survey to having a project. Should we get design funds now, or should we do some more work to make sure we know what we want to design before we go for funds? What works?
Usually, from my experience, you get the survey first. There's a lot of checking on that stuff. There's something, might be supplemental material, some field work they'll have to do. So I think to try to change, to try to lump it all together is gonna be real tough, real confusing and tight for the consultant, okay? So once they've got that survey locked, stock, and barrel, and they know what they've got, maybe they had to go a couple extra times and so forth and so on, then I think you're ready to move ahead with your design stuff.
So would you say that the most aggressive that was realistic would be to go for the 500,000 at the November town meeting as opposed to in the May town meeting? Would that be your
Right.
recommendation?
But, they could have delays, they could have, things could, nobody goes a straight line. There's always, side paths. So I would say yes, the November one would probably be better.
Okay.
Yeah, and going to town meeting, and then we can't answer various questions.
Right.
People raise them, that's not a good way to
Right.
try to
No,
get
we
it through.
know how that works, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right, we want to push VHB so that we can see their first work, and then that gives us something to work with and raise our own questions and anticipate others. Okay.
I try to jam everything in as fast as I can.
Right.
So, Calvin, in terms of dealing with the budget from the DPW, where it is already on the capital improvement plan, and we would be talking about addressing that with the town management as being in November. Is that how you would best recommend we go with that? Is we don't let it die and just not bring it up in May. What we do is bring it up in May as this is what we're going to, we still need that 500,000 in this fiscal year, but we're going to bring it up in the November town meeting as opposed to the May town meeting.
That would work. I mean, we have it in there for the fiscal year, so we could do it at the fall town meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, let's shoot for that.
all right.
Okay, great. Okay, then there is the, okay, discussion of inclusion of speed indicator signs in the DPW budget for FY '27. How much are we talking about here?
So there was the $20,000 requested as a line item in the DPW budget.
Uh-huh,
We'll see if that request is granted. I do know that Mass DOT is starting a grant opportunity for these signs. The end of the month, they're doing a seminar on it that I'll be attending, and
okay,
they're doing the grant just for these signs, solar speed feedback signs. So I'd be optimistic that we would be able to get some grant funding if this $20,000 does not get added to the budget.
now the 20,000 was a 20,000 that supposedly was in it for a number of years, and we didn't pick up on it, is that true, or? Does that ring a bell, Stephanie?
I know there were issues about the 20,000 that, no, it hadn't been put, that it had to be a specific, I thought it had to be a specific line item in the DPW budget.
Ah.
And that, I think 1 year, we had maybe a warrant article with 20,000 in it. I don't recall how that went. But we're talking 20,000 per sign, right? That's what they cost, right? The solar signs?
Oh, yeah, probably.
The solar ones may be a little bit less than that. I know that the ones that we had hardwired and do all the infrastructure work for, those were really expensive.
Yes.
But I think
Yeah.
a solar one, I don't have an exact price, but I think they'd be less than 20,000.
All right, but if we use the 20,000 as just a rounded number, okay?
Right.
It isn't just 20,000. If what we're talking about is next month, we are going to, at our February meeting, be discussing speed solutions for the town that you and Chief McDonald are working on. And I'm sure some of those speed solutions are going to be some of the solar signs. So right now, you're having to develop your budget by January 15th. And I'm just,
Actually, Scott sent me an email message just a little while ago this afternoon and said he wants to put off that discussion for at least one more meeting so that he and Calvin have enough time. They haven't been able to get together, and so they will have time to get together and
all right.
develop their presentation.
All right, so we won't have that on the February meeting. We may have it on the March meeting. But
Right.
the budget still has to be in by January 15th. So if what we're thinking is those speed signs are going to be a major contributor to any speed plan that we have, it would behoove us to have that in a budget somewhere. I mean, either as a warrant article or within the DPW budget as a separate line item.
So it was requested, $20,000 was requested.
But that 20,000 isn't going to be for multiple signs, right? I mean, we're talking, we know we would want one probably on Nauset Heights Road, a couple of others that have come up.
I think we'd have to have more of a discussion about where we'd want to put them before throwing roads out there, but
Yeah. Barley Neck was another one we discussed it. So we know there's going to be requests for more than one sign. So I just want to make sure that we don't get beyond the point of where we could make that request.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there's a request for 20K that is pending, and that would be pretty limited in what we could install, huh? That's what you're saying, Stephanie?
Yes, it is.
we also haven't had any sort of quotes for these signs, so I mean, I think we're assuming that they're a lot more expensive than they are.
We have some out there. I thought that what we had discussed was the cost.
$500.
Yeah.
What?
About $4,500 a piece, right? That was the last number, somewhere in there.
That sounds right.
Solar ones, yeah.
Solar? Okay.
Really?
All right, so maybe the 20,000 is fine then. That's,
All right, I mean, let's at least get that, and then
If it's an annual line item, then
we can have
put more in annually.
and have a list, pending list of locations.
all right. I was just overstating what I thought the cost was. I thought it was more like 20,000 a sign.
I think they're a bit more affordable than that. Maybe the ones that are hardwired might,
Those are more like 100,000, I think, the hardwired, but,
but that was for two and the electric installation, so.
okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll be surprised if they're that cheap, but hopefully they will be. Okay, town report. Each committee has to contribute to the town annual report by the 14th of January. And I believe I sent the draft around to people, or Stephanie did, is that right?
Yes, I put it in the packet.
Okay, so, all right, so that's the 14th, you've got it now. Could people provide me with whatever comments you have by the 12th, which is what, Monday? I think, let's see, yeah. So if I had those by the 12th, and if you want to, rather than just send me comments to talk about it or make suggestions directly over the phone or something, we can do it that way. But if I get any kind of comments by the 12th, Monday, I can turn it around and get it to Molly Bates on by the 14th. Does that seem reasonable? Okay.
Do we want to have any discussion of it right now? George, I see you've
Sure,
got a
people have
lot.
comments
George has a
now.
lot of crossouts.
Yeah, no, it's really good, but it's too long. It
Okay,
has to be about a third the size, so I just carved it up.
okay.
Just down to the facts. That's just the instructions we always get.
Yep.
So that's the Jack Webb approach, just the facts, madam?
Peter, I'll send you what I've got, and you can do with it whatever you think is appropriate.
Okay, no, that's good, and I'm happy to then circulate that, so people, don't spend their time working on this longer one, and look at your version and see if they're happy with that.
Sounds good.
Okay, so as soon as if you send that to me, I will turn around and send it to everybody else. Thank you. Okay, any other comments on the annual report? Okay. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, we have to approve the minutes from the December meeting. Any, okay. Any motions to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion? No discussion? Okay, vote? I guess
I think we have to, because you're remote, I
Yeah,
think we
so
have to
too.
do a voice
Okay.
vote.
Okay, so I vote aye.
Doug Prentice, aye.
Hi, George Meservey.
Aye, Stephanie Gaskell.
Hi, Jeff Deering.
Hi, Calvin Sutton.
Hi, Joel Horton.
All right, Bob McDonald.
Okay, great, unanimous, thank you very much. let's see, then. Okay, so the speeding thing, I mentioned that Scott says they need some more time for that. Any other business? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Well, could we just do, if we have anything that anybody is bringing up that we want to make sure is on the agenda, maybe a review from Joel, Bob, and Calvin on the Salty Ridge.
Signs, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
the signage,
yeah.
or well,
No,
the
Salty
is
Ridge
sort of
and,
the upgrade somehow, the striping and all of
West
that.
Road.
Yeah,
We can have pictures too if you want us to give you, do you need pictures of the signage where they're gonna be located, or do you?
Oh, you mean you're talking about Overland?
Salty Ridge. All right, so maybe pictures of Salty Ridge, and like, if we go up there and walk and give you an idea of what we're thinking about, or talking to Calvin about when we do the visit.
I think we're gonna visit both of those,
Yeah,
Overland and Salty Ridge, so we can come back with more details on the signage for Overland and more ideas on how to address the intersection on Salty Ridge.
okay,
Okay. And then we will be doing perhaps a review of a February 3rd potential public meeting.
yeah,
And I've reached out to Josh to confirm his availability. If he's not available, I'll let you know as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
okay, good. Okay, anything else that we want to flag for our next meeting at this point?
Could we, Chief McDonald had talked at one time about the whole issue of e-bikes. Could we revisit with him whether he would be prepared to speak with us about that in February or not?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because it looks like we'll have some time for that.
Okay.
And even if it's just sort of an intro as to what are for him to frame what issues he's working on and considering.
Okay. And you had said we're not going to do the speed
Yeah, no, he
analysis
said
until
he needs
March.
more time.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Peter, before we adjourn, can I just go back to one thing?
Yeah.
And that is the Beach Road Community Meeting. If the meeting is the day after our next meeting, maybe I misspoke. How are we getting the word out? Is there a plan to announce this or get people to attend?
You will.
Yeah, well, that,
Yeah, we'll put it, I mean, I'll talk to everyone about getting it on the website.
so
I have the
you're on it.
names of all of the people who are in a Beach Road Association, and I'll send them an individual
important that they all
email, that they get a separate email notice from us. I will ask about maybe putting something in the Chronicle, even though we don't have to have the 3 weeks, at least get maybe something in there.
Just don't want to
Yeah.
have a meeting and nobody shows.
Yes.
yeah. Oh, and that, yeah. Now, do you have any idea how many of them are year-round residents?
What,
Hard to
most of
tell.
the people on Beach Road?
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know,
the ones who
no.
have been coming, I assume, are year-rounders.
Yes, most are, I think. They can, I mean, if we have it in this room, it will be easy for people to participate remotely as well.
Oh,
So
that's
that
right,
would
yeah.
be good to have it in this room on the 3rd, because it
Yeah.
allows for remote participation.
Okay, okay, so that would be, I mean, let me think. That would be a separate email out to them at some point, once it's all set up, right?
Yes, once we determine with Josh if it's okay, and
Yeah.
I make the room reservation, then we will make sure we get the word out.
Okay, yeah, because that's going to be a sensitive one.
Yes.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Then is there a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there a second? I'll
Calvin
second it.
Okay.
Oh, Calvin seconded it? Okay.
I don't know if we have to go around for a
For
vote.
that, yeah. I apologize for getting on late.
No, that's all right.
having trouble getting, yeah, anyway.
So do we want to
Okay.
do a voice?
Yes. A voice.
Yeah.
All
Doug,
those in favor of adjourning?
favor adjournment?
Doug Prentice, yes.
Hi, George
Okay.
Meserve.
Aye, Stephanie Gasco.
Hi, Jeff Deering.
Hi, Calvin Sutton.
Hi, Joel Porton.
Hi, Bob McDonald.
Hi, Peter Algier. Okay,